Hi, I'm Rya with Pilates Integrated. Welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about the importance of retraining your core postpartum. And then we'll move through some exercises using a breathing technique called the core breath. As you know, when you're pregnant, lots of changes in your body occur. And chances are, before getting pregnant, you didn't think much about your core unless you were actively performing abdominal exercises. Things probably just function naturally. After having a baby, some of those deep core muscles can lose their effectiveness as part of a team. And so it's really important to consciously and slowly retrain your deeper core muscles before starting to strengthen the stronger, more superficial core muscles. So just a little bit of an anatomy to start. Our deep core muscles include a set of 4 muscles. The first is your primary breathing muscle, the diaphragm. So it's that large dome-shaped muscle that sits just at the base of the ribs. The second are the set of muscles at your pelvic floor, and we'll call them the pelvic floor muscles for simplicity today. The third is your transverse abdominis. That's your deepest core abdominal muscle that runs underneath the more superficial ones. The muscles are here, and the tendons wrap around and connect in to your backside. And the final, 4th set of muscles are the multifidus, the deep muscles that line just either side of your vertebra, going up your spine. So when functioning normally, those 4 sets of muscles work as a team. When you inhale, the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis relax as the diaphragm engages. So if you imagine your diaphragm's here in a dome shape, this is it relaxed in its length and form. When you inhale, the diaphragm engages and it draws down to fill the lungs with air. To create space in this region, the pelvic floor muscles relax. Then as you exhale, naturally pelvic floor muscles engage, diaphragm relaxes. So we're kind of moving like so, and that helps to keep the intra-abdominal pressure somewhat stable, which is important postpartum because many different things can happen. For example, diastasis rectus, that's the separation of the abdominals, which occurs naturally during pregnancy, but there's different levels of severity, we'll say, and some require more conscious attention to return back to a functional state. Other things that can happen is incontinence, which is to pee, when you're not sitting on the toilet, we'll put it that way. That can be anything from, a sneeze and you get a little bit of a leak to more serious forms of it. And finally, prolapse. That's where anything sort of in this area drops lower than it normally would sit. And so we want to be careful when we're healing all of those things that we're not putting extra downward or outward pressure on our pelvic floor and our abdominals. Hence this notion to inhale, relax the belly, creating space, and exhale to engage the pelvic floor and the lower belly. So in addition to the pelvic floor, on your exhale, the transverse works harmoniously with the pelvic floor to engage. Inhale, lower belly, pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale, pelvic floor and lower belly gently engages. The transverse is a stabilizing muscle. So when it's engaged, it's very subtle. If you feel you've created a brick wall here, then that's too much engagement. That means you've now layered on top of the transverse your obliques and your rectus abdominis. And before we train those, we want to make sure that, again, those deeper core muscles are working as your foundation. So let's continue with a couple more of those core breaths. And when you do the core breath, sit with your pelvis in its natural position. So your front hip bone and your pubic bone will be vertical, stacked one on top of the other. Widen your sit bones. If your hips are tight, sit on something, or sit on your knees or a block. So all different positions. You'll know you're in the right position if it feels fairly natural to sit tall, allowing for the natural curves of the spine. So we've got sit bones wide, shoulders relaxed, and the tips of the ears gently drawing back and lengthening up towards the sky. Then take one hand on your lower belly and the other hand around the ribs. As you inhale, let the belly expand and relax like a balloon. As you exhale, gently engage the pelvic floor as the belly gently draws in. Inhale to relax, creating space. And exhale to engage. Some people are not sure whether they're actually engaging their pelvic floor muscles or not. Again, it's another subtle contraction, and I do advise that you see a pelvic floor physio just to get an exam and see if you actually are engaging them properly or not. A couple cues that are helpful though is when you do go to engage, imagine that you're picking up a blueberry with your vagina. And when you relax, you drop the blueberry. I like that visual because the blueberry is a bit slippery, so you have to engage and draw up, but we don't want to squish the blueberry, so we're not creating a whole bunch of tension to do so. So let's continue with our core breath. Inhale to relax the belly, pelvic floor, and exhale, gently pick the blueberry up. Continue this a couple more times at your own timing. Ideally breathing in and out the nose, the jaw relaxed. Let's now translate this to some different positions and gentle exercises. So come onto your back, and I invite you to come onto your back via your side, using the help of your hands before you retrain your superficial abdominals. Once on your back, bend your knees and check in that the natural curve to the low back is present. So another way to test, front hip bone and pubic bone are horizontal. Let your inner knees touch and widen your feet apart. Then take your hands to your lower belly. Again, inhale, relax the belly, let it expand. As you exhale, gently engage pelvic floor and lower belly. This exercise, again, because it's subtle, the muscles are moving, but the bones are stable. So if you feel your low back press into the mat, then you've gone too far. You want to keep the skeleton where it is and just let the muscles and the fascia move with the breath. Inhale to relax, belly expands. Exhale, engage. Let's now time it with some other movements. And the timing is very important because we want to engage our deep core muscles first before layering on more superficial muscles. A common one is the hip flexors or the psoas. So again, on your back, inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, pick the blueberry up and continue to exhale, lift one leg and lower. Inhale, relax. Exhale, engage, lift the other leg and lower. Inhale, relax the belly. Blueberry picks up first. Leg lifts. Lower. Inhale, relax. Exhale, engage and lift. Lower. Continue at your own timing. This is also an exercise where the pelvis stays stable. So keep that relationship between the low back and the mat the same. And it's a small movement, but again, the importance is the sequencing, the timing. Inhale, relax. Exhale, engage your core first and keep exhaling to perform the movement. Next exercise, bridges. These are also very subtle versions of bridge. So again, inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, engage and lift just a little without tucking your tail under. Lower. Inhale, relax. Exhale, engage and lift. Lower. Continue at your own timing. Inhaling to relax. Exhale, engage your pelvic floor first. And lift as you complete the exhale. Lower. One more. And the third exercise on our back are the head lifts. Now, you may notice, A, it's harder than usual to come up like so, and B, you might notice a little bulging at your belly when you come up. So we want to minimize that. In fact, if you like, you can do a little test. So you can pull your shirt up, and without pre-engaging anything, lift your head, look down your center, and just see what happens in your abdominal area in response to that action. Now we'll add in the core breath and see if you notice a difference. Inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, engage. Pick the blueberry up and keep exhaling to lift the head. Lower. Inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, pick the blueberry up, lift the head. Lower. Did you notice a difference? If you did, chances are you are performing the core breath correctly. I find, even though my boys are now 3 and 6 years old, and I've done lots of postpartum training, Pilates, yoga, if I don't do that pre-engagement, I still get a little bit of diastasis that comes up when I go to lift my head. So it makes a big difference, and that difference will translate into activities that you do throughout the day. Another big one is picking up heavy things. And it's interesting how, we have our new beautiful baby that we love so much, and a lot of the things we have to do involve picking up in awkward positions, such as picking the baby up out of the crib in the middle of the night, carrying a heavy, awkward car seat, etc. So when you go, for example, in the middle of the night, and I'll just kneel for ease of the camera angle. So you see baby, and you're gonna look down. Inhale, relax the belly. Exhale, engage pelvic floor and lower belly to pick up the baby. Same thing when you go to pick something up. Your car seat. So you've got your car seat. You're gonna inhale. Exhale, engage to pick up. If your task needs more than one breath to complete, for example, holding the car seat to walk somewhere, the most important part is that initial breath before you perform the action to get your core set up, and then you can breathe somewhat naturally during the rest of the action or the exercise. Another thing you can practice to get the hang of that is simple standing squats with the core breath. So standing feet can be hip distance apart or wider, whatever feels the most comfortable for you to squat. And just feel the connection of the feet on the mat or the earth. As you inhale, bend your knees, pick your sit bones up. Exhale, pick the blueberry up to straighten tall. Inhale to lower, relaxing belly. Exhale, pull tall. Inhale, lower. Exhale, tall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Thank you for joining. hopefully those are some helpful takeaways for you in your postpartum journey. Again, my name's Rya with Pilates Integrated, and it was a pleasure to facilitate this video for you. Have a good day.